I found the text at 2:47 a.m., the kind of hour when nothing good ever happens. He tastes like you, like coffee and lies. My hand shook so violently the phone clattered onto the bathroom tile. I'd been married to Derek Chin for 6 years. I'd known Ivy Caldwell for 12. And somehow, in the 3 months since I'd pulled her bloody and sobbing from her ex's apartment in East Atlanta, she decided my husband was fair game. The shower was still running. Derek's voice drifted through the steam, off-key and oblivious, singing some John Mayer song while I stood there with evidence of his betrayal glowing in my palm. But the worst part? The absolute soul-crushing worst part? I'd seen this coming, and I'd ignored it. 12 years earlier, I met Ivy Caldwell at Emory University during freshman orientation. She was magnetic, wild red hair, vintage band tees, the kind of girl who made you feel like the most interesting person in the room just by listening to you. We became inseparable. Studied together at Dancing Goat's Coffee on Ponce, bar hopped on Edgewood Avenue, cried over boys in her dorm room while eating Sublime donuts at 3 a.m. She was there when my mom died junior year, held my hand through the funeral, slept on my apartment floor for 2 weeks because I couldn't stand being alone. "You're my family now," she'd whispered one night. "Blood doesn't make a family, choice does." I believed her. God, I believed her. 3 months earlier, Ivy had shown up at my Buckhead townhouse with a split lip and a suitcase held together with duct tape. Her boyfriend, some trust fund nightmare named Brock Whitfield, had put her in the ER twice that year. I'd begged her to leave him, screamed at her, threatened to call the cops myself. That night, she finally did. "I can't go back, Nat," she whispered, mascara streaking down her face like war paint. "If I go back, he'll kill me. He said he'd kill me." Her hands were trembling. There was a purple bruise blooming across her collarbone, finger-shaped and fresh. I didn't hesitate. I set up our guest room with clean sheets, lavender candles from Candlefish in Virginia Highland, and a lock on the inside of the door. I called my lawyer friend, Jennifer. I held Ivy while she cried into my shoulder for 3 hours straight. I promised her she was safe. Derek had been supportive, almost too supportive. "You're doing the right thing," he'd said that first night, kissing my forehead while Ivy slept upstairs. "That guy's a monster. She needs us." Derek worked from home most days. He was a software engineer for a fintech startup, while I pulled 12-hour shifts at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. I'm a pediatric nurse in the oncology unit. My job is saving kids who deserve better than the hand they've been dealt. Maybe that's why I didn't see it. I was too busy saving everyone else. "She'll be fine here with me," Derek had assured me. "I'll make sure she eats, keep her company. You just focus on work." I believed him, trusted him, because that's what you do when you've been married for 6 years, when you've built a life together, when you still kiss each other goodbye every morning and mean it. Or so I thought. The signs started small. Ivy borrowed my clothes, then my perfume, my lipstick, my entire identity. Derek laughing at her jokes a little too hard, the way she'd touch his arm when she talked, fingers lingering just a second too long. "You're paranoid," I told myself. "She's been through trauma. She's just comfortable here." Then came the bigger signs, late-night conversations in the kitchen when I was already asleep. Derek's phone suddenly password protected. Ivy wearing his Georgia Tech hoodie one Sunday morning, claiming she'd gotten cold. "It's fine," I kept telling myself. "You're imagining things." Until I wasn't. 2 weeks before the text, I came home early from a shift that got canceled. The house was quiet, too quiet. I walked upstairs, my heart already knowing what my brain refused to accept. Their bedroom doors were both closed. I stood in the hallway for 5 full minutes listening, heard nothing, convinced myself I was crazy. I went back downstairs and made dinner like everything was normal. That night in bed, Derek spooned me like always. "I love you," he murmured into my hair. "I love you too," I whispered back. I meant it. Even then, even with doubt eating me alive, I meant it. The text came 1 week later, from Ivy's phone to mine, except she hadn't meant to send it to me. The contact names were too similar, Nat and Nate, Derek's middle name, which she'd started calling him in private. "He tastes like you, like coffee and lies." My entire world collapsed in a single sentence. I sat on that cold bathroom floor, phone in my shaking hands, and realized the cruelest truth. I'd opened my home to a snake. I'd offered sanctuary to the woman who would burn my life down. And the man I'd vowed to love forever had let her. I didn't confront them that night. I deleted the text, flushed the toilet for cover, and climbed back into bed while Derek's arm draped over my waist like nothing had changed. But everything had. I lay there in the dark, listening to him breathe, and made a decision. I wouldn't react. Not yet. I would watch. I would gather evidence, and when I finally confronted them, there would be no room for lies. The next morning, I watched them like a scientist observing lab rats, the way Ivy's hand lingered on his shoulder when she poured his coffee, her fingers trailing across his back as she moved away, how Derek's eyes followed her across the kitchen, hungry and guilty all at once, the inside jokes I wasn't part of, the laughter that died the second I entered a room. "Morning, babe," Derek said, too cheerful, too performative. He kissed my cheek. His lips felt like a stranger's. "Morning," I replied, measuring my tone carefully. "How'd you sleep?" "Great. You?" "Like a rock." The lie came easily now. Ivy emerged from the guest room in my old Spelman College t-shirt, the one I'd gotten at a thrift shop in Little 5 Points, the one with the small bleach stain on the hem that made it mine. She'd been systematically stealing pieces of my identity for weeks, and I'd been too blind to see it. "Coffee?" she asked brightly, already pouring me a cup. "I made it strong, just how you like it." "Thanks," I said, taking the mug. Our fingers touched. Hers were warm. Mine were ice. I went to work, smiled at my young patients, changed IVs, held the hand of a 7-year-old named Lucas while he cried through his 4th round of chemo, and the entire time I felt like I was watching my life from outside my body, a stranger wearing my scrubs, living my nightmare. I started documenting everything, screenshots, receipts, timeline entries, and a locked note on my phone. October 3rd, found receipt from the Optimist in West Midtown, $127 dinner. I was working a double that night. October 8th, Derek's cologne smells different. Ivy bought him Tom Ford last week. As a thank you, she said. October 12th, heard them laughing in the backyard at midnight, watched from the bedroom window. He was teaching her constellations, his hand on her lower back. 2 weeks after that text, I hired a private investigator. His name was Raymond Mills, a retired APD detective who worked out of a tiny office near Turner Field. He charged $200 an hour and promised discretion. "Most people don't want to know the truth. They just want permission to leave," he told me during our first meeting. "I want the truth, all of it." 3 days later, he delivered. The photos were damning. Derek and Ivy at Ponce City Market sharing gelato from Honeysuckle, at Piedmont Park laying on a blanket near the lake, his head in her lap, at a boutique hotel in Midtown, the Georgian Terrace, checking in at 2 p.m. on a Thursday while I was saving children's lives. But the worst photo, the one that made my stomach heave, was taken through my own kitchen window. Them kissing against the refrigerator, her legs wrapped around his waist, his hands in her hair. In my home, in the sanctuary I created for her. Raymond slid a manila envelope across his desk. There's more. Phone records, text messages I pulled from cloud backups. It goes back further than you think. How far? 7 weeks. It started 2 weeks after she moved in. 2 weeks. I'd given her safety, and within 14 days, she'd decided to destroy me. That Saturday, I followed them. Derek told me he was meeting his college buddy Travis at Grana in Inman Park. Ivy said she was going to a trauma support group in Decatur. They met at Piedmont Park instead. I watched from behind an oak tree, my heart hammering as they spread a blanket near the lake. It was a perfect October afternoon, golden light filtering through the trees, families playing frisbee, the Atlanta skyline glittering in the distance. Derek fed her strawberries. She laughed, that laugh, the one she used to reserve for girls' nights at Tin Lizzie's and 2 a.m. phone calls when we'd talk about our dreams. He tucked her hair behind her ear. She leaned in and kissed him. Not a peck, a kiss, deep and hungry and devastating. I didn't scream, didn't run over and make a scene. I just stood there, my heart splintering into 1,000 irreparable pieces, thinking I gave her everything, and she took the one thing I couldn't replace. But I didn't leave the park. I kept watching because something felt wrong, off. The way Ivy kept checking her phone, the way Derek seemed nervous, distracted. Then I saw him. Brock Whitfield, Ivy's supposed abusive ex-boyfriend. He was standing 50 yards away, partially hidden behind a pavilion, watching them with his phone raised. He was recording them. My blood turned to ice. What the hell was happening? I watched Brock for 10 more minutes. He never approached, just filmed, his expression unreadable. Then he got in a black BMW and drove away. I sat on a bench, mind racing. Why would Brock be following them? Why would he care who Ivy was sleeping with if she left him? Unless the story she told me wasn't the whole truth. I went home and did what I should have done 3 months ago. I investigated Ivy. Social media deep dives, public record searches. I even called Jennifer, my lawyer friend, who made some discreet inquiries. What I found shattered everything I thought I knew. Ivy had never filed a police report against Brock, not once. No restraining order, no hospital records under her name at any Atlanta ER in the past 2 years. I found Brock's Instagram, public, unblocked. His most recent post, from 3 weeks ago, a photo of him and Ivy at a Braves game, smiling, his arm around her shoulders. The caption, "Working through it. Love wins." The bruises, the split lip, the terror in her eyes that night she'd shown up at my door. Had any of it been real? Have you ever realized the person you were trying to save was actually the villain? Drop a comment. I need to know I'm not alone. That night, I confronted her. Derek was at the gym, or wherever he actually went when he lied to my face. "We need to talk," I said, my voice steady and cold. I'd rehearsed this moment 100 times. Ivy looked up from the couch where she'd been scrolling through her phone, probably texting my husband. About what? I threw printouts on the coffee table, screenshots of Brock's Instagram, records showing no police reports, the photo of them at Piedmont Park, the hotel receipt. About the fact that you're a liar. Ivy's face transformed. The sweet, vulnerable mask she'd worn for 3 months cracked, and underneath was something I'd never seen before. Calculation. Cold, sharp calculation. "You don't know what you're talking about," she said, but her voice had changed, harder, defensive. "Brock wasn't abusing you, was he?" I stepped closer. "That bruise on your collarbone, you did that yourself. The split lip, the sob story, all of it was a lie to get into my house." "Nat, why?" The word ripped out of me. "Why did you target me, target my marriage? What did I ever do to you?" For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she smiled, a cruel, bitter smile I'd never seen on her face before. "You really want to know?" Ivy stood up, crossed her arms. "Fine. You want the truth, Natalie? I've hated you since sophomore year." The room tilted. "What?" "You had everything. The perfect grades, the dead mom everyone felt sorry for, the nursing degree, the handsome husband with money, this beautiful house, and you acted like you earned it all through hard work and tragedy. I did earn it, while I had nothing. Her voice rose, venomous. Do you know what it's like being your friend? Saint Natalie, who everyone loves, who saves dying kids for a living, who's so good and selfless and perfect? I was always in your shadow, always second best. My hands clenched into fists. So you decided to destroy my life, to sleep with my husband? I decided to take what you took for granted. She stepped closer, eyes blazing. Derek was lonely. You were never home, always at the hospital playing hero. He wanted someone who actually saw him, and I gave him that. You're sick. I'm honest, she laughed, sharp and brittle. And here's the really beautiful part, Nat. He loves me, actually loves me, more than he ever loved you. The front door opened. Derek walked in, gym bag over his shoulder, and froze when he saw us standing there, the evidence scattered across the coffee table. Nat, he started, I can explain. Don't. My voice was steel. Just don't. Derek's face drained of color. He dropped his gym bag, hands raised like I was pointing a gun at him instead of just shattering his world with the truth. How long have you known? He asked quietly. Long enough. I turned to face him fully, and I barely recognized the man standing in my doorway. 2 weeks. I've known for 2 weeks, and I've watched you lie to me every single day. Ivy moved toward him instinctively, like a cat seeking shelter. He didn't push her away. That told me everything. I never meant for this to happen, Derek said, the oldest line in the cheater's handbook. But it did. My voice was eerily calm, and you let it. Every single day, you made the choice, in our home, in our bed. My voice cracked. Did you sleep with her in our bed, Derek? His silence was the answer. I laughed, a hollow, broken sound. Get out, both of you, tonight. Nat, please, Derek stepped forward. Don't you dare come near me. Something feral rose in my chest. I pulled 12-hour shifts while you played house with my best friend. I held dying children while you destroyed our marriage. You don't get to please me. You don't get to ask for anything. This house is half mine, Derek said, and there it was, the man he'd been hiding, cold, calculating. Legally, you can't just kick me out. Watch me. I pulled out my phone, finger steady now. I have a lawyer on speed dial. I have evidence of adultery, and in Georgia, that matters in divorce proceedings. So unless you want this to get really ugly, you'll pack a bag and leave tonight. Ivy's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, and her face went white. What? Derek asked her. She didn't answer, just stared at her screen like she'd seen a ghost. My phone buzzed too. Unknown number, a video file. I opened it and my blood turned to ice. It was footage of Ivy and Derek at Piedmont Park, the kiss, the strawberries, everything. But that wasn't the devastating part. The devastating part was the second video attached. Ivy and Brock 2 days ago at a coffee shop in Virginia Highland, sitting close, laughing, his hand covering hers across the table. The text below read, "Thought you should know what you're really dealing with. Brock Whitfield." I looked up at Ivy slowly. You're still with him. Her jaw clenched. It's complicated. Complicated? The word exploded out of me. You used me. You used my home, my trust, my marriage. For what? Some sick game you're playing with your boyfriend? Derek stared at Ivy, confusion and betrayal warring on his face. You told me you were done with him. You said he almost killed you. Oh, wake up, Derek, I shouted. She lied for everything. The abuse was fake, the bruises were fake. She came here to destroy us, and you were stupid enough to help her do it. That's not, Ivy started. Shut up. I rounded on her, and 12 years of friendship burned away in an instant. I mourned you. When you were with Brock, when you disappear for weeks and come back different, smaller, I mourned the girl you used to be. I thought he broke you, but you were never broken, were you? You were just cruel. Tears streamed down Ivy's face, but they looked fake now. Everything about her looked fake. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. I stepped closer. My voice dropped to something dangerous. You wanted my life, my husband, my happiness, because yours was so empty you had to fill it with pieces stolen from mine. My phone rang. Jennifer, my lawyer. I answered. Nat, I found something, she said, breathless. Remember you asked me to check Ivy's background? She's done this before, in Charlotte, 3 years ago. Moved in with a married couple, told them she was escaping domestic violence, ended up sleeping with the husband. They divorced. She has a pattern. The room spun. I put the phone on speaker. What? Derek whispered. Jennifer continued. There's a Facebook group. Other women she's done this to. I can send you the links. Nat, she's a predator. This is what she does. Ivy bolted for the door. I moved faster, blocking her path. You're not running this time, I said coldly. You're going to face what you've done. Get out of my way. Or what? I stepped closer. You'll fake another bruise, cry to another friend, destroy another marriage. I'm done protecting you, Ivy, from Brock, from yourself, from consequences. You wanted to see me break? Congratulations, you did it. But I'm not breaking down, I'm breaking free. What came next came from somewhere primal. I grabbed her suitcase, the same duct-tape disaster she'd arrived with, and threw it out the front door. Then her clothes from the guest room, her toiletries, her stolen pieces of my life. Nat, stop! Derek tried to intervene. You too. I turned on him. Pack a bag. You've got 20 minutes before I call the cops and tell them you're trespassing. This is my house. This is my sanctuary, and you defiled it, both of you. 20 minutes. Derek looked at Ivy, really looked at her, and I saw the moment he understood. He'd thrown away 6 years of marriage for a woman who'd played him like a fiddle. He'd destroyed something real for something poisonous. I'm sorry, he said to me, voice breaking. You will be. I held the door open. Now get out. They left together, bags hastily packed, climbing into his car. I watched them drive away down the tree-lined Buckhead Street, their taillights disappearing into the Atlanta night. Then I closed the door, locked it, and collapsed against it, sobbing for the first time in 2 weeks. But underneath the grief was something else, something hard and bright and new. Freedom. The next morning, I woke up in my empty house and did something I hadn't done in years. I made breakfast for one, just me. Pancakes from scratch, coffee from my favorite beans, sitting at my kitchen table in silence. My phone was full of messages, Derek begging to talk, Ivy blocked, Jennifer with divorce paperwork ready to file, and one message from an unknown number. I'm sorry I sent that video, but you deserve to know. Ivy and I have an open relationship. She targets married couples for sport. I usually just watch, but you seemed different, kind. You deserved better. Brock. I stared at the message for a long time. They were both in on it, Ivy and Brock. This was their twisted game, and I'd been the latest victim. But I wasn't a victim anymore. I deleted the message, started the divorce paperwork, and made an appointment with a therapist for the following week. 6 months later, I signed the divorce papers at Jennifer's office in Buckhead on a Tuesday morning in April. The cherry blossoms were blooming along Peachtree Street, pink petals drifting through the air like confetti at someone else's celebration. Derek didn't contest anything, gave me the house, half his 401k, everything I asked for. Guilt is expensive, turns out. How do you feel? Jennifer asked, sliding the final document across her desk. Free, I said, and I meant it. I'd spent those 6 months rebuilding, therapy twice a week with Dr. Okonkwo in Midtown, long walks through the Atlanta Beltline, reconnecting with friends I'd neglected, real friends like my coworker Shanice, who brought me wine and takeout from Bone Garden Cantina every Friday for a month straight. You're allowed to be angry, Dr. Okonkwo told me during one session. Anger isn't the opposite of healing. Sometimes it's the beginning. She was right. I was angry, furious even. But I was also relieved. My marriage had been dying long before Ivy arrived. I'd just been too busy, too tired, too committed to the idea of us to notice Derek and I had become strangers sharing a bed. Ivy hadn't destroyed my marriage. She'd just exposed the cracks that were already there. 3 weeks after the divorce was finalized, I got a Facebook message from a woman named Rachel Martinez in Charlotte. "I saw you joined the support group. I'm so sorry you went through this. Ivy did the same thing to me and my husband 4 years ago. We lost everything. But I want you to know it gets better. You get stronger. And karma is real." I found the Facebook group Jennifer mentioned. 15 women across 3 states, all with the same story, all targeted by Ivy. Some marriages survived, most didn't. We started a group chat, shared our stories, warned each other when Ivy resurfaced in new cities with new identities. We became accidental sisters, bonded by betrayal, but stronger together. Rachel messaged me privately one night. "I heard through the grapevine Ivy and Derek broke up. Turns out she was still sleeping with Brock the whole time. Derek's devastated." I should have felt vindicated, victorious, but I just felt empty. Then slowly, something else. Pity. Derek had traded a real marriage for a mirage, and now he had nothing. No wife, no home, no dignity. Ivy was probably already in another city, spinning her web around another couple, feeding her endless hunger for validation by destroying other people's lives, but that wasn't my problem anymore. 1 year after it all fell apart, I stood in my newly renovated kitchen. I'd ripped out everything that reminded me of them and started fresh. New cabinets, new countertops, new life. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "I know you'll never forgive me. I don't deserve forgiveness, but I need you to know you were the only real friend I ever had, and I destroyed that because I couldn't see someone be genuinely good. I'm sorry doesn't cover it, but I'm sorry anyway. I hope you find happiness, real happiness, the kind I'll never have. M.N. Ivy." I read it 3 times. My therapist had warned me this might happen, the apology that comes too late when the damage is permanent. I thought about responding, thought about telling her I forgave her, because that's what the old Natalie would have done. But the new Natalie, she knew better. Some people don't deserve closure. Some betrayals are too poisonous to survive, and some apologies are just narcissists seeking absolution to make themselves feel better. I blocked the number, deleted the message, and went back to making dinner.
Hope you learned something valuable from today's story. Stay tuned as we bring more interesting tales your way. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you're the first to know when we post. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. Your support means a lot.